Hello and welcome to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News Business. I'm Elliot Bullman. Let's start with the information. As the full extent of the International Paradise Papers scandal unraveled this week, Mexico's Undersecretary of Finance, Vanessa Rubio, said that the government is committed to investigating cases of tax evasion. According to the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, several iconic Mexican people and organizations use tax havens as an operating platform to boost their profits. People named in the Paradise Papers include businessmen such as Carlos Slim, Enrique Coppel, and Ricardo Salinas Pliego. In the field of politics, Alejandro Gertz Manero, who was the Secretary of Public Safety during the administration of President Vicente Fox, has also been named. Gertz Manero, the former leader of Mexico's largest trade union confederation, operated a trust and hid millions of dollars in offshore tax havens. Rubio reaffirmed that Mexico will use the international mechanisms of exchange of bilateral tax information with practically every country in the world to conduct its investigations into some of Mexico's wealthiest people. Stay with us for more breaking news. The head of Mexico's public finances, Jose Antonio Meade, warned this week that the main three issues that will provide financial markets with most uncertainty next year are the renegotiation of the NAFTA agreement, the monetary policy actions of the main central banks of the world, including Banco de Mexico, and Mexico's presidential elections in 2018. The monetary policy of the developed countries is very worrying for emerging nations such as Mexico, because as their rates start to rise, that puts pressure particularly on the Mexican peso. Meade said that there is also Mexico's electoral uncertainty, that stated that it's important that the economic package 2018 sends signals of certainty. Asked if he'll seek the candidacy for the presidency of Mexico, Meade responded that there's certainty of his participation as a public servant. The official considers that the price of oil at $48.50 per barrel that was approved by legislators is realistic, but he said that the future more likely points to an average price above $50. Following on from this story, the Energy Regulatory Commission has announced the number of private gas stations in Mexico has risen to 2,578, which now represents 22% of the total stations operating throughout the country. Mexico's gasoline market is diversifying rapidly, with new gas stations opening on a daily basis, according to the Federal Energy Secretary Pedro Joaquin Caldwell. The increased competition in a market until recently monopolized by state oil company Pemex was enabled by legislation stemming from the controversial energy reform of 2013. The Energy Secretariat has now issued petroleum import licenses to 196 companies, and 20 of them have already begun bringing fuel in for their own use. Petroleum market specialist Rodrigo Favela explained that greater competition will likely translate into lower prices soon throughout the country. Pemex sales exceeded $23.65 billion in 2016. However, it remains to be seen what effect increased competition will have on its bottom line for 2017. And finally, let's turn to the markets. The Mexican peso increased 0.06 or 0.32% to 19.14 from 19.08 in the previous trading session. Historically, the Mexican peso reached an all-time high of 21.92 in January of 2017. IPC Mexico decreased 169 points or 0.34% to 48,836 from 49,005 in the previous trading session. This was all for today. Thank you for staying with us. I'm your host, Elliot Bullman. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and log on to MexicoNewsNetwork.com for more information on Mexico and the world. Until next time.